Discover the miraculous journey of Dinah, uncovering Jacob's daughter and God's incredible restoration. In the 3rd year of Jehoiakim, when the winds carried stories of both strife and promise across the lands, the daughter of Jacob and Leah, Dinah, was moved by an insatiable curiosity. The tents of her encampment, nestled within the valleys of Canaan, grew small around her heart, as their echoes seemed to weave a tale of constraints and expectations. One fateful morning, as the sun rose, casting golden light on the landscape, Dinah ventured beyond the familiar confines of her family into the vibrant life of the Canaanite women. As she stepped through the multitude of colors, sounds, and scents, Dinah found herself wrapped in gaiety. Laughter rippled through the air, and the women's voices intertwined, sharing tales and their daily works. The culture around her thrummed with energy, pulling her deeper into its embrace. It was here, amidst the warmth and allure of camaraderie, that Dinah found a fleeting sense of freedom, unfamiliar yet inviting. But the tranquility of this surprising adventure was abruptly shattered. In the midst of the lively exchanges, she encountered Shechem, the son of Hamor the Hivite. An intense gaze locked onto hers, and in a breath's time, joy twisted into horror as he seized her. That fateful moment, meant to expand her horizons, instead encapsulated her in despair, marking her life with a wound that would echo through her family's lineage. The honor of Jacob's household wavered like a candle in the wind. In the aftermath, Dinah's spirit felt fractured, yet an unyielding strength unfurled within her. There in the shadows of her grief, she began to search for solace. What comfort could be found in a world that turned so swiftly? As her brothers, Simeon and Levi, caught wind of the violation against her, the fabric of their brotherly love began to unravel into a vengeful response. Oh, bitterness fueled their hearts. They plotted a course of retribution, driven by a thirst for justice that skewed their vision. Jacob, wise yet burdened, sat in silence, his heart heavy with the weight of his daughter's anguish and the looming wrath of his sons. The air grew thick with unresolved tension, and Dinah felt torn between her longing for peace and the familial loyalty that entwined her existence. Her brothers prepared themselves for a reckoning she had not wished for, flooding her mind with questions about the nature of justice. Do fury and vengeance truly bring honor, or do they only deepen the pain they carry? As night descended, shadows danced on the tents, whispering of the coming conflict between Dinah's brothers and the unsuspecting Hivites. She wrestled within herself, torn between the identity of a woman marked by pain and the glimmer of hope stirring deep within. Could there be redemption found beyond betrayal? Was there a voice worth discovering amidst the chaos?
Before we continue with this incredible biblical account, I want to make sure you don't miss any of these powerful scripture stories. Click the bell icon and select all notifications. These biblical narratives have transformed countless lives throughout history. If God's word through this story is blessing you, please like and share with someone who needs to hear about God's faithfulness today. Tell me in the comments, which biblical story has most impacted your faith journey? I'm always amazed how God's word speaks to hearts across generations. Now let's continue with what the Lord did next. As the night thickened with uncertainty, Dinah listened closely, her heart attuned to the divine whispers around her. Could it be that even amid her pain, there was a purpose yet to unfold? The horizon before her lingered with mystery, and with it, the promise of healing awaited, an invitation to rise from the ashes of despair. Would Dinah step into the light of restoration, or would the shadows of vengeance claim her? The winds of Canaan stirred, heralding the miraculous journey that lay just beyond her grasp, a journey toward redemption that no one could fathom. As the darkness enveloped the camp, the hearts of the brothers were ablaze with fervor, fueled by a desire for vengeance. Simeon, the elder, narrowed his eyes, his voice a low growl as he spoke. "We cannot let this affront go unanswered. The blood of our sister cries out for justice." Levi, ever the righteous warrior, nodded in agreement. "Indeed, the shame laid upon our family demands a pound of flesh. We will not rest until Shechem pays for what he has done." Meanwhile, in the confines of her tent, Dinah felt the tumult of emotions swirl around her like tempestuous winds. With each heartbeat, a question echoed in her mind. What legacy will I leave? Am I to be remembered only for my pain? Shadows flitted around her, but amidst the suffocating dark, a flicker of light ignited within her spirit. Should she not seek a deeper understanding of her worth? Could she find a measure of strength not seen by her brothers? A strength born not from revenge, but from the forgiveness she could extend. As the hours passed and the stars blinked down upon the earth, the tension mounted, anticipating the clash that would soon unfold. Jacob, observing his sons forge their plan with fierce determination, felt a cold despair settle in his heart. "What shall I say to my father Isaac?" he pondered in silence. "How do I defend a family torn apart by vengeance rather than love?" In that moment, Dinah stepped into her brother's path as they prepared to leave, her presence a sudden breeze cutting through the heat of their passion. "Wait," she called, her voice trembling with both fear and resolve. The brothers halted, surprised by her sudden emergence, their anger mixed with protectiveness. "What do you seek, sister?" Simeon demanded, a storm still raging in his heart.
With courage that belied her turmoil, Dinah spoke. "I beseech you, do not bring ruin upon their lives for my sake. The men of Shechem are not solely responsible for what has happened to me. In their hearts they are lost, as I feel lost. Vengeance will not heal my wounds, but only deepen the scars within our family." Levi lowered his weapon, taken aback by her words. "But Dinah, they have wronged you. Is it not right to demand justice?" "But who shall decide what justice looks like?" Dinah pressed gently, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "Must I place a burden of hate upon my brothers rather than a bridge of healing?" A profound stillness fell over them as the brothers exchanged unsure glances, their boiling rage wavering in the presence of their sister's resolute spirit. Dinah continued, "Let us seek a path that reflects our Father's love and the covenant bestowed upon us. Is there not space for grace in this tale?" The silence grew thick with contemplation, and a battle raged not just within the hearts of the brothers, but also within Dinah's own spirit, a battle between revenge and redemption. Her voice, though teetering at the edge of despair, echoed with the hope that something beautiful could emerge from their present anguish. Then, from the midst of the encampment, an unexpected messenger appeared, a servant bearing news of Shechem's desire to marry Dinah, seeking solace for his wrongs. The winds blew uncertainly about them at this twist of fate, carrying with it the resolve that would challenge the very fabric of their family bonds. As the weight of the moment descended like a shroud, Dinah sensed a new horizon gleaming ahead. Perhaps this could be a path toward healing, or a deeper wound, she whispered in her heart, a small flicker of resolve kindling once more within her. But little did she know, the offerings of a Canaanite prince would stir the currents of God's sovereign plan, a plan woven throughout history, where the seeds of reconciliation could bloom amidst the ashes of pain. Would Dinah rise to embrace her destiny, or would shadows awaken anew? For in the heart of Canaan, a greater story was yet to unfold, a divine orchestration beyond their comprehension, beckoning them to trust in the God who redeems even the darkest of circumstances. As dawn broke over the land of Canaan, a soft light spilled upon the tense gathering of Jacob's sons, illuminating their wearied faces and the raw emotions etched upon their brows. The air, thick with the fragrance of early blooms, seemed to buzz with the anticipation of decisions yet to be made. Simeon, whose heart still burned with indignation, stood firm, his stance unyielding like a strong oak defying the storm. "How can we entertain the thought of binding our sister to her abuser?" he spoke, his voice taut with fury. "Shechem's proposal is nothing but a mockery, a means to silence our rightful anger." But Levi, feeling the weight of Dinah's words and a flicker of compassion kindling within, countered, "What if this union could be a pathway to reconciliation? Our sister's pain cannot be undone, but perhaps with her consent, we can navigate a future where animosities dissolve in the waters of forgiveness." Dinah stood between them, her heart pounding, feeling the depth of the conflicting tides. "Brothers, I do not wish for vengeance," she implored softly, "but I ask you to consider the burden of my heart. Forgiveness does not erase what has occurred, nor is it naive. It is an act of strength, one that echoes through generations to come." The brothers fell silent, her words settling in the quiet spaces of their minds like seeds planted in cultivated soil. Jacob listened from where he stood, torn between his duty to protect his daughter and the honor of his family. He approached Dinah, longing to understand this new path she envisioned. "Do you truly seek to unite with Shechem, to join the family of those who have wronged you?" Dinah lifted her chin, her spirit bolstered by the courage gathering within her. "Father, if Shechem's heart is indeed changed, and he seeks not just to marry me, but to make right all that has been wronged, should we not give this a chance?" Amidst the rising sun, a haunting question lingered in the air. Could love bloom from the ashes of betrayal? Jacob sought wisdom, reciting in his heart the words passed down through generations. A forgiving spirit can break the bonds of the past. He sought the Lord's guidance silently, praying for clarity amidst his turmoil. Just then, a murmur enveloped the camp, as news spread of Shechem's arrival. The Canaanite prince approached, flanked by his father Hamor, offering gifts and assurances. With a respectful demeanor, Shechem dropped to one knee before Dinah. "I have come to express my deep remorse for the stain upon your honor, and to request your hand in marriage, that I may start anew with you." Simeon clenched his fists, boiling with ire at the sight of Shechem, but Dinah raised her hand, silencing her brother with a gentle command. "Are you truly repentant? Do you seek to reconcile not only your wrongs against me, but also your place among our people?" Her voice was steady, yet her heart trembled. Shechem met her gaze intently. "For every unkind word spoken, I now bear a heavy burden in my heart. I seek to make amends, not as a conqueror, but as one who wishes to honor your family and your name." Though her heart raced against the storm of emotions, Dinah pondered. Perhaps there was more to this moment than she could fathom. Could it be that God was weaving a new tapestry from their suffering, shaping a narrative of grace through their torn lives? As the brothers stood watching, the tension in their hearts remained. Their fate hung delicately suspended, awaiting a choice that could either stitch their family closer or further fray the fabric of their legacy. For amidst their deliberations, a divine whisper lingered in the air. "What you cannot foresee in this present moment, I have already ordained for your redemption." In the balance of love and vengeance, the hunt for justice and the embrace of mercy lay the deepest of divine mysteries, a truth waiting to be unveiled as God's sovereign hand moved silently through the annals of history, crafting a plan that only He could fully comprehend. Would Dinah find freedom through forgiveness, or would bitterness prevail and awaken a cycle of grief anew? The sun climbed higher, casting longer shadows across the camp, as the murmuring of the assembled became a chorus of unease. Jacob, burdened by the weight of his daughter's choice, sought counsel among his sons. "We cannot rush into decisions forged by pain alone. We must tread with wisdom," he cautioned, his voice reverberating like an echo from the mountains. Simeon turned to his father, stubborn resolve blazing in his heart. Father, to accept Shechem is to admit weakness. The shame of our sister's dishonor would linger, a stain upon our lineage. We must not allow our family's name to be a pawn in his game of repentance. And yet, Levi countered, what if this path leads to unity? What if this union merges our destinies, bridging the chasm that divides us from the Canaanites? Hope flickered in his tone as he glanced at Dinah, who stood resolutely, her spirit a beacon amidst the turmoil. Dinah could feel the depth of their debate swirling around her, and in that moment, clarity pierced her heart. "Brothers," she interjected, her voice rising above the tumult, "I ask you not just to judge Shechem's proposal, but to judge the heart of our family. Can we not emerge from this tragedy as something greater than we were before? If I must bear the name of my oppressor, let it be a name that brings healing, rather than widow our hearts in perpetual anger." As her words hung in the air, Shechem watched with bated breath. "What can I do to show you my sincerity?" he implored, rising to face Jacob, a plea written across his brow. "I have come not only for Dinah, but to seek favor with your household. Let me become one of you, that I might labor for the restoration of what my actions have torn asunder." Jacob felt an internal struggle, earnest prayer rising within him. "Lord, grant me wisdom to navigate these troubled waters." He observed Dinah, her spirit shimmering with newfound courage, while Shechem's earnest gaze mirrored her longing for reconciliation. The faces of his sons bore every imaginable conflict, yet within them echoed the lessons of their grandfather Abraham, a legacy of covenant formed through challenges overcome by faith. Then a silence fell, heavy like the summer air, as the ground around them seemed to still in anticipation. Dinah stood, eyes locked with Shechem, as if searching for traces of authenticity within his plea.
"If I were to unite my heart with yours, it must not be built upon the ashes of my shame, but upon the foundation of respect and integrity." Simeon stirred, unable to contain his anger. "We should demand a sacrifice. He cannot simply expect us to exchange Dinah's honor for words. There must be accountability for his actions." Levi's voice broke through, fervent yet steady. "And what if this act of unity brings forth a new legacy? One where our two families can stand together as a testament of grace? Is that not more potent than revenge, more enduring than bloodshed?" Just then, the wind rustled through the trees, carrying with it a whisper of God's promise. A rustling silence embraced the gathered family as they each contemplated the significance of their choices. In that sacred moment, the tent flap shifted as a woman approached, her kind eyes reflecting the weight of the world, yet filled with hope. "I am Dinah's nurse, and I once heard from the Lord in a vision that this union might bring forth not just new life, but an avenue of light to the nations yet to come." A collective gasp echoed among them, for the implications of those words were profound. Could it truly be that God had a purpose beyond their immediate disappointments? Was she speaking of the promises given to Abraham, of nations birthed from this union? As the sun dipped toward the horizon, casting a glorious hue across the sky, the brothers stood on the precipice of a decision that could reshape their legacy. Would they proceed with hatred or embrace grace? What they could not foresee was not only the unfolding of their own destinies, but the divine plan that soared beyond their understanding, a weaving of hearts and hope unto generations yet unborn, guided by the sovereign hand of God. Would their choice favor the road of mercy, or would they choose to harbor bitterness, unknowingly chaining their future to a lineage of sorrow? The air thickened with anticipation as Jacob turned to his sons, the light of decision glimmering in their eyes. "Hear me, my children," he began, his voice steady despite the swirling uncertainties. "The eyes of the Lord are upon us. We are called not merely to respond with vengeance, but to act with righteousness." Dinah felt the pulse of hope, dwindling yet persistent, as she took a step forward, ready to reveal what lay within her heart. "I do not desire the cloak of bitterness, nor the legacy of hate. If God has ordained us to walk together with Shechem's family, then let us have the courage to pursue a new path, one that transcends our pain." The tension crackled, a divine weight resting upon each individual present. Simeon, still ardent in his opposition, spoke with fierce conviction. "You would have us forge a bond with those who brought dishonor upon our house? Their actions cannot be overlooked." His righteous indignation ignited the hearts of the other brothers, stoking unrest like kindling in a blaze. As the debate swirled, Levi raised his hands, his countenance calm yet deliberate. "Can we in our anger see what good may come? As the prophet once wrote, 'For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future.' Perhaps this must unfold in our midst, a divine tapestry woven by His hand." The words hung like dew in the morning light, and Shechem, sensing the shift in the atmosphere, felt emboldened. "Then let me prove my devotion, O father of Dinah. My heart is broken, and I beseech you to grant me the chance to redeem myself." He turned to Dinah, vulnerability brimming in his gaze. "If your heart can open to me, then let our hearts be joined in the name of reconciliation." The winds lifted, brushing against the anguished souls before them, whispering tales of old stories filled with grace and forgiveness. Dinah looked from her brothers to Shechem, her heart aching for clarity. Will it be the strength of our lineage or the strength of our grace that will define us? The question lingered in the air, summoning a moment of introspection. Then the silence shattered as Dinah's nurse, wise and worn, spoke once more. "Do you not see that our God walks with us, even through the valley of shadows? His promise unto our forefather Abraham extends even to these moments of uncertainty." A moment of divine clarity settled upon Jacob as he processed the implications of this union. Could it lead to a blessing for the families intertwined? The hope of future generations, perhaps a light amidst the nations, flickered at the edges of his heart. "Then I shall speak," Jacob declared, his voice rising like a mighty river carving a path through stone. "If we are to enter this union, it shall be under the watchful gaze of the Almighty. We shall set terms that honor our legacy. Loyalty to one another shall be demanded, and an oath sworn upon the sacred altar of our forefathers." The sun painted a vivid tapestry across the sky, reflections of light engaging in a cosmic dance, as they sensed the dawning of a new chapter. The brothers, though hesitant, began to see the glimmer of hope that Jacob perceived. Perhaps they were on the cusp of something far greater than vengeance. Yet an unseen hand stirred among the leaves, and above all the fray, a deeper plan unfolded like the fabric of time itself. It became clear that all could not be foretold. The waves of fate surfacing carried with them a glimpse of God's greater design, a prophetic destiny not yet revealed. What they did not grasp was this: in their choices lay the germinating seeds of grace, destined to ripple through the ages. The truth, still entwined in the mysteries of the Lord, whispered to them softly as the gathering dusk embraced the horizon. Would they dare to take a step towards the promise, or would uncertainty shroud their future in darkness? The shadows loomed large, for the hand of providence had only begun to unveil the journey laid before them. As Jacob stood resolutely, the weight of the moment clung to the air like a fragrant offering. His mind raced with thoughts of the generations to come, the legacy that awaited the union he deemed necessary. "We shall call upon the Lord," he proclaimed, as the hands of his sons fell still with attention. "May our covenant be rooted in His truth, our commitment be steeped in faith, and our hearts be open to what He ordains." Dinah stepped forward, emboldened by the resolve of her father. Let us not approach this matter without the wisdom of His word. As it is written, "The heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps." Proverbs 16:9. If this is the path laid before us, let it be covered in His mercy. The murmurs of agreement rippled through the group, a collective breath drawn as the shadow of doubt lightened just slightly. Yet Simeon remained unconvinced, his brow furrowed. Is it not a betrayal to our own? What if this union brings upon us greater trials and tribulation? Our family was wronged. Levi, driven by the stirring of his soul, interjected. What if, in our pursuit of revenge, we miss the opportunity for divine instruction? The scriptures remind us, "Vengeance is mine, I will repay," says the Lord, Romans 12:19. Could forgiveness be our deeper calling? The air thrummed with the intensity of their discourse as the sun dipped low, its glow casting a fire-like radiance upon the dusty ground. Dinah felt the urgency of the hour, for surely God's purpose loomed just beyond their sight. "Brothers, do not forget our father's struggle," she implored, her voice quavering with emotion. "He wrestled with the Lord and emerged blessed. Could we not wrestle with our fears and emerge transformed?" As she spoke, something within Shechem stirred, a longing for grace intertwined with the fear of rejection. "I shall do whatever it takes to honor this union," he asserted, kneeling before Jacob. "Let me be circumcised as a sign of my commitment to your family." A gasp echoed among the brothers. The bond was beginning to feel tangible yet fraught with implications. Jacob contemplated the offer. It was sacrificial, but it bore the mark of submission to their customs. "Should we choose this path," he warned gently, "we must abide by the sacred terms that bind it. Our hearts must be unified, our intentions pure." Days passed in a haze of deliberation, prayers rising like the incense before the altar, each son wrestling with their convictions, and Dinah, in quiet moments of reflection, found herself standing on the threshold between past wounds and future hope. The unfolding drama illuminated her understanding of forgiveness, a delicate balance between justice and love. It came to pass that, on the eve of the covenant, as Shechem and the men of his city conformed to the rites prescribed by Jacob, an unsettling tranquility filled the camp. Jacob gathered his sons around the fire that night, their faces aglow with the flickering flames reflecting 1,000 questions. "What will tomorrow bring?" he whispered, mirroring the internal battle within his own heart. Just then, a voice broke through the silence, resonant and commanding, as if drawn from the heavens. "Remain steadfast in faith, for with each step you are unwittingly encroaching upon my design." They all felt it, a divine presence urging them forward into uncharted territory. What lay ahead remained hidden in the shadows of the morrow, but they sensed in their hearts the gravity of God's unfolding plan, leading them through trials that would test their very souls. In the depths of their spiritual wrestling, a truth began to crystallize. Their choices would not just affect them in the moment, they were shaping destinies beyond their grasp. And what they could not yet comprehend was that God was weaving through the fabric of them all, just as He had done with their ancestor Abraham. As the night deepened, the stars twinkled above like promises yet to be fulfilled, leaving behind a singular thought echoing through the minds of all present. What miracles would spring forth from such fragile beginnings? In the heart of turmoil lay the seeds of divine restoration, waiting for the dawn to unveil their truth. As dawn broke, the world stirred awake in the land of Canaan, casting a golden hue upon the earth, a reminder of God's grace anew. Jacob's heart raced with both anticipation and dread, for today would be pivotal, a day that might alter the course of his lineage forever. He gathered his sons, their faces lined with uncertainty, yet bolstered by the promises of yesterday. "Today we walk in faith," Jacob began, his voice steady. "Let not our hearts be heavy, nor our minds clouded by fear." Simeon, still wavering, glanced at his father. "Father, do we risk our family's name upon the uncertain tide of these agreements? With the Lord as our witness, this covenant seeks harmony over enmity," Jacob replied firmly. "The people of Shechem have initiated this, yet we must hold tight to our values." The path led them to Shechem, where the men of the city, in a demonstration of their newfound commitment, awaited the family of Jacob with a mixture of reverence and apprehension. The tension hung thick, palpable like the mid-morning dew. Dinah, a figure of both hope and sorrow, stepped forward, her heart thumping in tune with the calls of love and reconciliation that echoed in her soul. "Behold," she spoke, her voice trembling with the weight of destiny, "we are here not merely to forge a bond, but to heal the wounds that have both bound and broken us." She turned her gaze to Shechem, a fellowship of flesh and spirit emphasized in her eyes.
"We seek to move beyond the yoke of vengeance. We choose to embrace peace. Is this covenant not an opportunity for us all to be restored?" The men amongst Shechem looked at one another, and Shechem himself marveled at her courage. "May this be a day of unity, not discord," he declared, invigorated by her words. "With you I learn a new strength, a strength that seeks understanding over conflict." As they proceeded with the solemn rites of circumcision, the air thickened with anticipation. Jacob and his sons stood as witnesses, and with each incision made in faith, doubts were laid to rest and dreams began to merge. Moments turned to hours as healing flowed through their hearts like living water, an act of obedience in the face of a layered past. But darkness lurked in the waiting shadows. Levi and Simeon exchanged glances filled with unspoken questions. Would this act of reconciliation truly turn their hearts from sin, or would it sow further discord? As night descended, the glow of torches flickered through the camp. Shadows danced about them, and the partition between their pasts and futures grew ever thinner. Then that which was hidden found its voice. A tumultuous sound broke the calm, a surge of men from the city gathering in haste. Levi stood firm, his muscles tense, as he felt their resolve threaten what had begun. Fear crept in again, a whisper pulling them from healing back into despair's arms. "Brothers, let us not forget the teachings of our Father," he commanded. "We sought peace through the Lord's guidance. To draw swords now is to invite calamity into our blessings." Yet impetuous hearts can be swayed by mere whispers. Just as the final rays of sunlight vanished beyond the horizon, the shouts of an ambush soared against the night. Blood cries mingled with despair of those who sought vengeance instead of forgiveness, igniting the air. The brothers found themselves at a precipice, forced to confront their darkest impulses. And in that moment, a powerful realization bore down upon them all. What if, wondered Dinah amidst tears, this was the true test of our unity? Would God's plan be fulfilled not through agreement alone, but through our response to adversity? As they gathered to stand in defense of their new covenant, the very fabric of their lineage trembled, calling them towards a greater purpose. Would they rise to the occasion, or would their anger stand in the way of the miracles yet to come? They sensed a reckoning upon them, the hand of the Almighty urging them forward into an unfolding narrative beyond their comprehension, where redemption awaited. What would be the nature of their response? The air, tinged with divine expectation, whispered the promise of transformation, a promise that echoed within their hearts, urging them ever closer to the heart of God's sovereign plan. As the clamor of chaos enveloped the night, the brothers stood resolute, torn between the yoke of vengeance and the call to forgiveness.
The hue of dusk settled around them, thickening the shadows and amplifying the reality of their choice. Under the stern gaze of Levi, the heart of the family pulsed with unresolved tension, a court of emotions swirling like the wind. "What shall we do?" asked Reuben, voice edged with urgency. "How can we turn this tide? Are we not to show mercy? Are we not to honor our mother's prayers and our father's hopes?" "And yet," Simeon interjected with a fierce resolve, knuckles white against his sword's hilt, "they made their choice, the men of Shechem. They chose the path of betrayal. Shall we allow their actions to go unpunished?" Dinah, her heart heavy yet steadily earnest, turned to her brothers with fervent resolve. "We cannot allow the darkness of sin to govern our hearts. Do not forget who we strive to be. Our desire for peace runs deeper than our hunger for revenge. We are called to reflect the mercy of the Lord." Their eyes met with mounting uncertainty, yet her words ignited a hope that flickered gently amid the turmoil. Just then, a voice surged from the rear of their gathering, a voice trembling yet infused with that very hope. It was their father, Jacob, emerging from the sanctity of his prayers. "Listen to me, my sons," he boldly proclaimed, his presence a soft light in the growing shadows. "We cannot repay evil for evil. If we take up arms in anger, we risk the very blessing that God has promised us. Should we not rise above vengeance and instead seek the Lord's counsel?" In that fragile moment, the echoes of violent voices faded, supplanted by the deep convictions of their father's heart. The weight of history transmogrified into the hope of a vanquished future. Shall we not become a vessel of God's mercy amidst this despair? Healing flows from the crucible of suffering. Our wounds may yet become the balm for another's. Unbeknownst to them, a divine pause hung in the atmosphere, a reminder of God's purpose weaved into the fabric of their lineage. The brothers exchanged grim yet seeking glances, each weighing their response against the testament of their father's faith. As the city's men advanced, fervor rising like a storm upon the horizon, each of the brothers felt the stirring of past battles, of land claimed and blood shed. Would this night mark a new chapter, one of grace and restoration? What if God wishes to turn this Babylon of discord into a Zion of forgiveness? Said Judah, voice trembling, yet radiant with insight. What if our legacy is not to defend our honor, but to extend a hand toward reconciliation? Slowly, swords lowered and armor slipped from shoulders as the brothers breathed in the air of a higher calling. Jacob's words echoed within their hearts, a rallying cry to rise above their anguish and despair. And as they stood united, every eye gazed toward the horizon where darkness met the dawn, an impending sense of the miraculous unfolding within their newfound resolve. The shadows shuddered, not merely from the threat of the ambushers, but also from the glimmers of transformation waiting to bloom forth. Thus, they affirmed their allegiance to one another and the Lord, encircling Dinah, standing amid them like the very heart of their family. In that protective embrace, they felt the warmth of a promise resounding. Mercy paved the way to life. Yet within this embrace, a figure hidden among the advancing men watched. His heart twisted between pity and wrath, an enemy bearing witness to this unexpected act of compassion. For the depth of human emotion run both thick and deep, obscuring the path that God had laid for them all, a path woven with divine promise. As the brothers prepared to meet the approach of Shechem and his kin, a whisper danced through the air, leaving them with lingering questions. What if,
Perhaps God had foreordained this very moment, knowing that their choice would reverberate through the decades, shaping not only their legacy, but that of a nation to come. Was this an act not of their own, but a testament to God's unfolding plan of redemption? In their hearts burned a hopeful uncertainty. The night still cloaked their destinies, but light flickered upon the horizon, charging their spirits with divine expectancy. And thus they readied themselves, for the true test was only just beginning. As the murmur of uncertainty mingled with the cool night air, the brothers stood shoulder to shoulder, their bodies poised in the strength of their unity. Jacob, seeing the courage illuminate their countenances, pressed deeper into his faith. "Be vigilant, my sons. Let not fear tarnish your hearts. The God of our fathers walks with us through every trial." A moment of stillness enveloped them, broken only by the pounding feet of the men of Shechem drawing near. Their shadows danced ominously against the firelight, illuminating faces hardened by hatred and vengeance. Yet, in stark contrast, Jacob's sons found strength not in steel, but in the conviction to seek peace. Then came the flicker of doubt, as the brothers exchanged glances once more. "What of Dinah?" Judah questioned, his voice a whisper lost in the encroaching darkness. "The stain of injustice marks our family. If we allow this moment to pass, will the shame not linger?" Dinah, with a heart aflame for her kin, stepped forward, her voice like a warm breeze amidst a brewing storm. "I implore you, we can forge a new way from this pain. If we turn our eyes toward the Lord, perhaps we shall witness His divine intervention. For is it not in forgiveness that we begin to shatter the chains of the past?" Before the brothers could respond, a cry rang out through the air, fierce and defiant. Shechem, leading his men, strode forth with fiery words. "Where are the sons of Jacob? Have you chosen to hide behind your sister's honor? Come forth and let us settle our differences."
At once, the tension tautened like a drawn bowstring, and Levi, burning with indignation, gripped the hilt of his sword. "It was you who chose violence. Let your darkness be answered not by our hands, but by our hearts." Simeon echoed his brother's fervor. "If you seek an end to our strife through a blind sword, you shall find in its steel the reflection of your own betrayal." As Shechem stood before them, unyielding in his arrogance, a ripple of uncertainty crossed his men. There was power in the brothers' defiance, a show of solidarity that sowed seeds of hesitation among their adversaries. Then Jacob, sensing the sacred weight of the moment, raised his hands. "Let us approach this not in anger, but in light. If you come to bargain, let there be peace. If you seek violence, know that we shall not yield to swords and blood. Our legacy is forged in the hearts of those who choose mercy." The men of Shechem paused, caught in the ebb and flow of the rising tide of peace. The air thickened with possibility. Even their hardened hearts felt the stirrings of the Holy Spirit. Amidst this crescendo of hope, Dinah found her voice amid the chorus of her brothers. "Let us remember the covenant spoken to our father by the Lord. In you all families of the earth will be blessed." Genesis 12:3. Can we not be a testimony of that blessing? As light danced upon their faces, a momentary calm washed over the men of Shechem. The power of a single voice, unified in divine purpose, echoed through the dark, revealing that perhaps, just perhaps, God was not only present, but working in the very fabric of their unfolding story. In that fragile space of vulnerability and strength, the brothers felt the weight of history gaze upon them. They stood at a precipice of destiny, one crafted by the Lord's sovereign hand. The promise of restoration trembled in the air like the flickering flame before them. But somewhere, hidden among the shadows, the figure who had observed this unexpected halting of violence felt his heart shift. What power was this that transcended his own? Was the God of Jacob indeed orchestrating a melody of mercy even here? As dawn broke upon the horizon, illuminating the silhouettes of both tribes, the question hung in the air. What divine shifts awaited as they ventured toward either reconciliation or ruin? Thus, the brothers readied themselves, hearts aligned toward a higher calling. The true essence of their legacy loomed before them. What further divine encounters awaited them on this path of forgiveness was yet to be revealed. Would they, through their choices, pave the way for a promise far greater than revenge? As the morning sun broke through the veil of night, illuminating the land of Canaan with golden rays, the atmospheres within Jacob's encampment and the townsfolk of Shechem shifted.
Here stood the sons of Jacob, warriors of both flesh and spirit, grappling with the deeper call of their heritage, a tug-of-war between the desires of vengeance and the pull of mercy. Today, Jacob's voice rang out like a solemn bell, we will choose who we are to become. Witnessing your sister, your kin, plead for grace, we must lay down our hearts to forge a new legacy. His words bore weight, imbued with the promise of hope and reconciliation. A pathway opened before them, one not paved with blood, but with the stones of compassion. Dinah, her spirit armored in bravery, looked upon her brothers, her eyes shimmering with the tension of unspoken fears and surrounding hope. Though my wounds remain fresh, I do not wish for an inheritance of bitterness. You have the power to rise beyond the offense done against me. We can shine as beacons of redemption. Simeon's brows furrowed as his heart wrestled with the shift. Sister, do we not risk our honor, our name? To walk this path may tarnish the very fabric of our heritage. Yet honor is wrapped in the embrace of righteousness, Dinah responded, her voice steady. Should we allow the pain of our past to dictate the essence of our future? The glimmer of realization crossed Levi's face as he contemplated her words. What if we bind ourselves to a new understanding? Perhaps we can supplant vengeance with the thread of covenant. Let our answer to Shechem carry a deeper weight, Jacob interjected, his heart swelling with both pride and concern. If the Canaanites seek to join us, let it not be merely an act of marriage born from desire, but a unity that points to a greater purpose, one uniting our houses beneath the covenant of Abraham. As if drawn by an unseen force, the men of Shechem stepped forward, Shechem himself at the center, his heart laid bare. Your sister's anguish haunts me. I bear the weight of remorse, almighty Jacob's kin. I stand not merely to gain her hand, but to rewrite what has been marred, a chance to intersperse our bloodlines in an act of union. Each word bore fruit, nurtured by Dinah's plea. Hope infiltrated the hearts of those who believed in restoration. The storm of vengeance began to dissipate, as if overshadowed by a new promise looming upon the horizon. With a collective breath, the brothers slowly approached Shechem. If we are to bind ourselves together, it must be with the gravitas of an everlasting covenant, Levi announced, conviction igniting his spirit. You and your kin must commit to the faith and practices of our forefathers, and we shall embrace you as brothers. Dinah's heart raced as she saw the patriarchs endeavor to weave threads of forgiveness through the fabric of their pain. The murmurs of community embraced them, and amidst the collective uncertainty, clarity emerged. Maybe this union could redefine their identities and reshape their future. Yet, unseen peril loomed. As Shechem and his party acknowledged the sacred terms, a dark flicker passed through the crowd. Nefarious hearts driven by revenge lurked, unwilling to accept forgiveness's golden bond. From the shadows, a dance of conflict brewed. In those split moments, as thick tension enveloped the gathering and darkness tested their resolve, a distant cry echoed, a warning that caused even the staunchest of hearts to tremble. "Stand firm," Jacob called, his voice now the anchor amidst the tempest. "We have chosen mercy. Let us not abandon it in the face of fear. We shall not yield." And thus, emboldened by faith, the brothers raised their eyes to the heavens, united in purpose, voices intermingling in a prayer that stretched beyond their immediate woes, a prayer for the God of their fathers to guide their steps. As shadows thickened outward from the edge of the encampment, a divine force enveloped them, an undeniable presence forging a way of righteousness and unity like a fire firsthand. Dinah, casting her gaze to the horizon as though peeking into eternity, whispered a silent prayer. "Let mercy reign over our hearts. Let love extinguish hate." In that revelatory moment, the winds shifted and the cries of betrayal quieted, heedful of something far more powerful than wrath, an essence of hope steadily unfolding before them. Thus, with the dawn illuminating Canaan, a new chapter began. The legacy this union promised would not tether them to darkness, but guide the way toward healing. A garden sown with seeds of grace and forgiveness, whose blooms would echo through generations, each petal healing the scars of the past into life anew. Now, as the curtain draws on this miraculous journey of Dinah and her family, we invite you to reflect on what God has shown you. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next powerful biblical stories that bind us all in faith and love. Leave a like now to help spread God's word through the algorithm, ensuring that His story reaches those who hunger for grace. Comment below with your spiritual reflections. How has Dinah's journey impacted your faith? And don't wait even one more second to share this powerful testimony with at least 5 friends who need to hear God's truth today. Your support helps us carry His message far and wide. Together, let's usher in a new season of hope.